Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to spend some time with you this morning. I'd like to give Angela a big round of applause for coordinating this. Thanks, Angela. So time is of a premium. I'm going to jump right into this. Happy to answer any questions after we're finished today. So the focus here is, which I'm not going to spend time because we just had the opportunity to hear. This is where the work is focused with the clients that I work with throughout the world. And we can get into more detail into all of those if you have interest. But our old buddy Charles Darwin nailed it when he said that. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but those most responsive to change. Now that applies to individuals, to teams, to departments, and to entire organizations. Those of us that are nimble, agile, adapt, evolve, innovate, embrace change, continue to learn, develop new competencies, develop new skills, will continue to thrive and excel in what we call the new world of work. Things have changed dramatically over the last 10, 20 years. It used to be that the big ate the small, now it's the fast that eat the slow. Complacency is extremely dangerous. It's one of the big downfalls when it comes to change leadership or flawlessly executing key strategies. We cannot maintain status quo, we cannot be complacent. Somebody will eat your lunch. We say we are in kind of what I call a brawl with no rules. You know, over the past 10, 20 years, things, as I just said, have changed really dramatically, and there's some key concepts, principles, and ideas that we need to embrace and internalize in order to thrive in this new world of work. So when it comes to change, if you don't like change or are tired of change, we hear a lot when we talk to clients up front, you know, what do you want to do? You have a big change effort, and you have people resisting it, and we hear this all the time. Our people are saying if we don't, they're just tired of the change. Well, you're going to like irrelevance a lot less because there's no stopping change. This white water of change, this turbulence is not going to calm or cease anytime soon. In fact, it's going to become more turbulent, and for those of us that are not prepared, whether you're an individual, you're on a team, you're running a department or an entire organization, it will be a very dangerous position to be in. So when we talk about disruption, we believe that there are 5 key elements that we need to focus on in order to thrive in this new world of work. The first is ideas. We need to have an abundance of ideas, whether it's individually, as a team, as a department, or an organization. How do we fast prototype, put those ideas into action very quickly? Move forward with your wins, learn from the losses, and keep moving forward. Do not maintain status quo, do not become complacent, do not become the king of tinkerers. Find out what works and keep moving forward. Tap into the abundance of talent that resides in every organization. Every employee has something to offer. How do we draw that out of them? How do we continue to skill them up, make sure they have the necessary tools and abilities in order to thrive in this new world of work? How do we become distinctive as an individual, as a team, as a department, or as an entire organization? That's a huge one. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And finally, drawing out the leadership capacity that resides in every single person in your organization. You do not need to have a title to be a leader or demonstrate exemplary leadership practices. What I call the 7-sided pincer movement that is coming to replace you in your job, in your role. They're coming to reinvent your department, and they're coming to annihilate or destroy your business. I'm going to go over these very quickly because this is really covered in another session and we don't have much time, but I'll just let you know what they are. And if you want these slides, I'll give them to Angela and she can hand them out to you. ERP, SAP, software, has eliminated hundreds of thousands of white-collar jobs over the last 10, 20 years because their role and what they did is no longer necessary. They could be replaced by software. White-collar robots. Think about how many bank tellers over the past 30 years have been eliminated because of ATMs. You know, Amazon's going to open 3,000 stores. There's not going to be a human being in the store. Lights-out warehousing. You know, multiple-acre warehouses where there's not a human being inside of them. Globalization. Location no longer matters. There's an abundance of talent worldwide and they're a mouse click away. Outsourcing. How many organizations outsource IT or HR or payroll? And usually who you're outsourcing with, they're the experts. It's all they do. And it's faster and it's cheaper. The internet. Bye-bye brick and mortar. Think about the notion of banking is necessary. Banks are not. How many of you bank online? You know, think all of this stuff up here. Just the education is necessary. Brick and mortar buildings are not. Look what Phoenix did with all the the evolution of how we educate our children and college students. Disruptive and destructive competition, Uber, Airbnb, Netflix, what's next? I can assure you there are college students in their dorm rooms right now, ensconced in their dorm rooms, trying to reinvent the work that you're doing right now. And finally, artificial intelligence. There is AI out there right now replacing surgeons. So if you feel you're not potentially expendable, we're all wrong. If surgeons can be replaced, we can all be replaced. So with that said, how do we differentiate, become distinctive in this surplus society that has a surplus of similar companies, employing similar people with similar educational backgrounds, coming up with similar ideas, producing similar things, with similar prices and similar quality? I mean, it sounds a little bit hokey, but it's true. We're in what I would call a commoditization economy. There's a lot of similarity out there, a lot of sameness. And we are in a sea of sameness. I was just driving down the road last week on a highway, and I mistook, I thought, wow, that's a really nice Bentley that I'm driving next to. And it was a Chrysler. You know, I couldn't tell the difference between a BMW and a Hyundai, a Volvo and a Kia. It's becoming very difficult because there's this sea of sameness. Quality and service isn't enough. That's the price of entry today. If you don't provide great service and top-notch quality, you're behind the eight ball. While everything may be better, it's also increasingly the same. You know, there's the examples with the cars. Here's 3 key tips that can help you individually as a team, as an organization, but to consider these when it comes to competing with your competitors. What can you do to become the choice of those you want to serve, whether it's employees or your customers? First is, what is your overt benefit? Even as an individual, as it's going to any employer, what is your overt benefit? Why would someone select you over everybody else that has a lot to offer? Dramatic difference. How are you dramatically different, whether it's an individual, team, department, or organization, than all the other options that I can go to? And finally, what's the reason to believe? Prove it to me. If you keep those 3 things in mind, it will help you become distinctive in your particular marketplace. Or as an individual, it will help you become distinctive in what you want to accomplish. In this day and age, we like to believe, we honestly believe that if we're not continually developing new skills, developing new competencies, all of us can become distinct instead of extinct. We need to become distinctive in this age of disruption, this new world of work. But I don't want to just speak at you this whole time, so I wanted to play a quick game with everybody. So it's early in the morning, so I'm going to create some energy in the room. I need everybody to stand up, whether you're here to watch this or you're a speaker or you're just in the back room. Everybody needs to stand up, get with a partner. So everybody find a partner in the room. If you do not have a partner, please raise your hand. If you don't have a partner, raise your hand and just go to somebody else with their hand up. Angela, can I ask you to come to the front of the room, please? So we're going to play a quick game here. The object of this game is to win. To win in this game, you need to score points. The name of the game, by the way, is called the hand push competition. So go ahead and size up the competitor you just chose. So I'm going to give you very quick instructions because we're limited on time. Instructions one time, so just watch what Angela and I do up here. Then I'm going to set you free to play the game. The way the game is played is like this. You get right toe to right toe, firm handshake grip. The way I would score a point is I need to push Angela's hand to her hip. You can go ahead and loosen up for demonstration purposes. Now, if I push her hand to her hip, I get a point. How do you think Angela would get a point? She pushed back. So when I get in your stance, you're accountable for your own safety. When I say go, you have 5 seconds to score as many points as you can. Ready? Go. Score. Score. Score points. Score. Come on, score points. Score. All right, stop. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you, Angela. Go ahead, have a seat. Have a seat. So, by the way, gang, when I said go ahead and score, how many of you thought I said kill? Oh, my Lord, there's some competition in this room. Anyway, we did that for a reason. One is to get the blood flowing, lighten the mood, have a little fun in the room. But more importantly is to introduce this next model, which is one of the most important models that we use in a lot of our work, and we present this model often. I have for 25 years, and I've had senior executives all the way down to frontline employees call me 6 months, 12 months later and tell me, Mike, you know that simple model you showed me? It changed my life. So I want to present this to you, and if you choose to implement this and apply this, you can change your life today if you choose to do so. In that game that we just played, what was the object of the game? To win, and how did you have to win? And in points. And in business, we call points results. What did you physically have to do in that game to score a point? Say that again? So you had to take an action. So it's the action you took that produced the result you achieved. Now, listen to the specific words I'm choosing to use here. It's the action you took that produced your points. It's the action that you took that produced your points, and so on and so forth. How many teams, by show of hands, in this room scored more than 5 points? More than 10? Who was your partner? Katie and Lynn. Stand up real quick, Katie and Lynn. Don't explain it, but when I say go, just show everybody else what you do. Katie and Lynn, ready, go, score! All right, give Katie and Lynn a hand. Good job, Katie and Lynn. Way to go. How many of you scored very few points, or maybe even zero? How many scored 0 points? 0 points. Who was your partner? What's your name, sir? Randy and Jan. Stand up and show us what you did. Randy and Jan, ready? Get in your position. Ready, score, go, go, go. Stop, you're going to break his wrist, Jan. All right, give Randy and Jan a hand. Good job. Did any team play the game different than either one of those partnerships there? And I saw a lot of different methods being played. I saw some people locked in, they moved to cooperating. There was a variety of different ways the game was played. We get a lot of unusual answers. I was actually at NASA about 3 months ago with a group of engineers. So they were rocket scientists. And 2 of them stood up and said, yes, Mike, we played the game differently. They grabbed hands, they touched hips. They said, that's an infinite number of points. You know, leave it to the engineers to overthink things, you know? But here's where this model gets deeper. You all got the same instructions from the same person in the same room at the same time, and all of you played the game different. Why? Say that again? Different personalities. What else? Interpret. What did you say? So it's all, we capture that by saying it's the beliefs you took into the game that drove the action you decided to take that produced your result. It's just the way that you synthesized the information and interpreted it, drove the action you decided to take, which produced your result. And I'm not talking about major beliefs like religious or political beliefs, very simple beliefs. Like, who was our first team? And your name again? Katie and Lynn. The belief may have been if we're going to win, we need to cooperate, a win-win mindset, which is terrific. With Randy and Jan, it's like, if I'm going to win, Randy's going down, baby. Win-lose mindset. And that's fine, too. It's just the way that you interpreted and synthesized the information. Your belief is what drove your action. Where do we get these? Oh, by the way, I was also kind of vague on the instructions. I said the object was to win. Did I tell you who your competition was? You could have decided it's my partner and I against everybody else, or it's me against my partner. Where do we get these beliefs? Where do they come from? Anybody want to venture a guess? It's our experiences, our lifelong experiences. Every professional and personal experience you have ever had in your lifetime has developed the beliefs that you hold. We have 50, 60 people in this room. Every single one of us has a very unique set of operating beliefs. Those beliefs drive our actions, and those actions produce our results, our business results, our professional results, and our personal results. Now, when an organization or a team is not achieving their desired results, where on this model do they tend to focus? Actions, almost all the time to the action layer. What's your familiarity with action planning? When action plan A doesn't work, what do? Go to B, and if B doesn't work, what do? Go to C or change the result. If you find you're spending a lot of time up there at the action layer, it's a big red neon blinking light saying you have some beliefs in your culture that are holding you back. I'll give you an example. Can I grab this piece of paper here? So working with Boston Medical, and the nursing manager there rolled out a new policy to 1,000 nurses that said, for every patient you discharge, fill out this new form. The nurses looked at the form and said, there's nothing on this form that we're not already capturing in the system somewhere. So what's the nurse's belief about that form? It's worthless. So what's most likely is the resulting action? I'm not going to do it. But if the nursing manager chooses to make them do it, can she do so? Yeah, she's the boss. She can stand over their shoulder and say, you got to fill this out. But if she's off across the street having to take care of something else in a different building, now what action will the nurses take? They'll revert back to their driving belief, which is, this is a waste of time. We're already doing this. We got this information, so they won't do it. So you can see that we always revert back to our driving belief. That's why this plane is under the action layer, because most people, most managers, supervisors, and leaders operate with a model that's 2 layers deep, telling people what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. It's energy draining, time consuming, and you end up spinning your wheels, because when you're not enforcing policies and procedures, people will always revert back to their driving beliefs. The bottom 3 layers of this model, the way we think right here and the way we act, that's your culture. And it's producing whatever results you're achieving today. Your financial results, your operational results, your customer results, your employee results. And if you have to achieve loftier or more difficult results in the future, can we expect to achieve better results if we keep doing things the way we've always done them? What's the definition of insanity? Our old buddy Einstein? Yeah, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So oftentimes we need to create shifts in our culture, the way people think, act, and behave, in order to accelerate our ability to get to the results that matter most. If you take nothing else from my time with you today, just remember this. Every action you take is an experience for everybody else watching you. And it's either reinforcing what they already think about you, or it's creating a new belief that they'll hold about you, or your team, or your department, or your organization. And if you're very cognizant of that, are we creating the right experiences, you begin to take the right actions and creating experiences that drive you toward the results you want to achieve in your professional career, in your business life, or in your personal life. The other thing that's really important to know here is that the belief layer here, when somebody gives you feedback, it's just their belief. And who made them believe what they believe? You did. So it does no good to filter feedback, get defensive about feedback, or try to explain away your action, because you're the one that created the belief, either through a direct interaction, somebody watched you from a distance, or there are stories being told about you that develop beliefs that people will hold about you. If we're only looking at the actions people take, the hands and the feet, we're neglecting the head and the heart. And that's where long-term sustained change comes from, by connecting to the head and heart, getting people to self-select, taking new actions, behaving differently to get the results that we want to achieve. I'm going to go through this because you're waving on the time here. So the defense to the 7-sided pencil movement, it's all about ideas, speed, talent, distinction, and leadership. And that's where all of our work focuses, on all 5 of those categories, to help organizations accelerate their ability to achieve the results that matter most. And we do this in a variety of ways, and be happy to talk more about that if you have interest. And I'll leave you with this quote. Only when you accept full accountability for your thoughts, feelings, actions, and results can you direct your own destiny. Otherwise, someone or something else will. Thanks so much. Turn it back over to you.